Welcome, Galactic Starveyors. I'm sure you're getting excited for VBS at Brandywine Valley Baptist Church. Thank you for watching this video. Of course, I'm actually making you watch this video, so thank you for following directions. We missed you at our meeting, but this video should summarize a lot of the main things that you need to know about VBS. Attached to the email that you should have received, you will have a PDF of this handbook. This is the volunteer handbook, and you need to make sure you read through it before the first day of VBS. You'll get a printed copy as well. We'll have these out on Sunday. You can pick them up then or on Monday morning at VBS, but make sure you read it over before then. We also have a t-shirt for you, and you can pick this t-shirt up anytime during the week or on Sunday. Again, if you miss any of that, you can pick it up on Monday morning. We want you to wear this shirt on Monday for VBS. You can wear it every day if you want, as long as you don't get too stinky, that's fine. But at least wear it on Monday and Thursday. Wear it Thursday morning to VBS and wear it Thursday evening to our family night program. We'll all have our t-shirts on then. These are right now outside of the fellowship hall, on the side hallway to the fellowship hall, and you can pick it up anytime. We'll keep those there all week. Now, I'm going to refer to some things in our handbook. So if you want to pause and actually print this out, it could be helpful, not necessary, but I'll go ahead and go through some of the most important things here. As you turn to the very first page, you'll see a little letter from me. It also has my cell phone number. So right now, if your phone is nearby, pause this video. If you do not have my cell phone number in your phone, now would be the time to do this. Make sure you have my cell phone number so that you can text me if you're having any problems getting to VBS on any of the days, or if there's a problem or an emergency while you're here. My cell phone number is 302-593-3720. If you've never texted me before, text me right now. Text me your name, and that way I'll get you in my contacts also. Thank you. In our handbook, on one of the first few pages, there's a chart that has our daily Bible themes for our Starveyor, our Galactic Starveyors, that is. And this also outlines all of our Bible lessons. The whole week is broken down through the scriptures that we're teaching, really just outline the entire plan of salvation, starting with creation and the fall, and then redemption and salvation through Jesus Christ. And the kids will be learning a different piece of that story every day. Of course, our fun songs also go along with that. And we also have our Bible verse. And in just a moment, Miss Rochelle will be teaching you some motions that go along with this verse. It's a little bit long this year. There are a lot of tricky words that you'll want to have extra grace and patience when you're teaching this to the little ones especially. But Rochelle has some motions that help me learn it. So they'll be helpful. We'll see her in a moment. But I also want to talk about some of the things that happen when you get here on the first day. When the kids arrive, what you need to do, and then we're going to focus on our safety guidelines and what to do in case of an emergency. First of all, I hope you have already registered any children that you are bringing with you. And if not, our online registration is only open until Wednesday. This Wednesday, July 19th. It'll close at the end of the day. We do take walk-ins on Monday, but it's much less chaotic if kids are registered ahead of time. Especially if you're a helper, you won't have time to be checking them in at a registration tent and also getting to your position. So make sure your kids are signed up. Our pre-registered children, once again this year, if the rain holds off, hopefully we'll be able to put all the pre-registration materials outside right at the end of the parking lot. Everyone who's pre-registered will pick up their book there. Whether they're pre-registered or they have to wait at the tent and register, once everyone is settled, the parents will take children into the sanctuary. And that's where you'll be waiting for them if you are a guide. If you're a guide, you're going to go to wherever your sign is that has the name of your group, and you're going to wait for children and welcome them there. One person in your group, so you'll pick an adult leader who has the actual sign-in form, your attendance sheet. You're just going to check off each child as they come into the sanctuary. If you're helping in a station, you can check in with the station leader, and they may want you to come down to the station first thing, or they may not need you right then, and you could actually go up to the sanctuary also. You can help greet kids and sit and enjoy our opening time. If you have a child who is under 4, they are in a room just for 2 and 3-year-olds. And those kids do participate in some of the rotations for VBS, but not all. And they're the only group that gets dropped off to the classroom. All children get dropped off to the sanctuary, except for the volunteer kids who are under 4 years old. You'll take them down to room 47. It's in the preschool wing, all the way at the end of the hallway. You'll drop them off there as early as 8:30, because you do need to arrive by 8:30 every morning. Tuesday through Friday mornings, our kids who come in will pick up their name tag at the tables in the gathering area. So the first day they're going to get their booklet, their parent handbook, and they'll get their name tag at either the pre-registration area or the tent to register. But all the rest of the days, everyone's name tag will be ordered by group in the gathering area. At the end of the day, guides, you will collect the kids' name tags, and you'll be the ones, between the adult helpers and the teen helpers in the groups, you'll be the ones to go and take those name tags out to the table and place them in alphabetical order by group. And that way the next day the kids can come right in and find their tag. You'll also have a backpack. The backpack for your group will have that attendance sheet in it, and you'll put the whole backpack right there on top of the name tags that you place on the table. Then you'll be able to find it the next day, and it will magically have a new attendance sheet in it, thanks to Miss Cassie. Our safety guidelines, our number one rule, the number one most important rule that you always need to remember and help others remember is never be alone with one child. Now, we're using this whole building, every single room and corner of this building. It seems like it's almost impossible to be alone with a child. But this means if a child needs to go to the bathroom, we shouldn't have one leader who takes one child and alone goes off and goes into a bathroom that you don't know if anyone else will be there, so you might end up alone with that child. A simple fix to that one is take 2 children with you. If someone needs to go, there's always a buddy who's willing to go with them. We'll talk a little more about bathroom breaks later. We want to discourage them out of some of our stations, and there are times that are really better for our bathroom breaks than others. We'll talk about that in a bit. When you're looking through your handbook, make sure you read through all of our safety guidelines, just some other important ones. If you are helping with diapers, or if a kid asks to be helped right on the toilet, it can only be our adult females that do that. No males, no teens should ever be changing a diaper or helping directly on the toilet. Whenever you are helping in the bathroom, just make sure, like I said, you're never alone with a child. Taking a group helps. Propping the doors open, help as little as possible. Do not help directly with a child unless they ask for help. And most of our kids are old enough that they don't need hands-on help in the bathroom. Another important thing that you're going to need to remember if you are working with a group as a guide, taking them station to station, is before you leave somewhere, before you leave a room or a station, count your kids, check it with your attendance sheet. And then when you move to your next place, when you get there, count them again. Make sure you didn't lose anyone on the way. Double check this as you go throughout the whole morning, all week long. Next, emergencies. If there is an emergency, obviously if it's a life-threatening emergency, you'll call 911. If your cell phone's not working, there are several places where there are landlines. They are outlined in your book, and all the leaders who were here for our meeting on Sunday took a tour, so they actually got to see where those are, so at least we'll know that they have seen them. If you need to call 911, make sure you tell them exactly where you are in the building so that they can find you. Make sure you take care of all of that first and then find someone to tell me, or someone to run up to the gathering area. Jennifer Robinson sits in the gathering area after registration. And if there's any major need, she's the one that you can find, and she usually knows how to find me. She's usually my brain during VBS, so she's very handy, and she'll always be in that gathering area. If you just have a minor first aid thing that you need to deal with, there are Band-Aids and gloves in each backpack for your group. We have first aid kits around the building, but for the children, we don't want to use any of the antibiotic creams or anything that's in there because we don't have permission for that, and we don't know if they're allergic to any of those things. So if you need something more than just a Band-Aid, you'll need to get me. And again, send a runner to the gathering area, or you can text me on my cell phone or call. Texting usually works better. Next, for evacuation, hopefully we will not need to evacuate 350 children from our building. But if the need arises, what you'll need to do, you just need to remember a few simple things. One is go to the nearest exit from wherever you are. The building's clearly marked with our emergency exits. So wherever you are in the building, go out the nearest exit. You must take your attendance sheet. Make sure you have that backpack or at least the attendance sheet with you. And then proceed all the way across our parking lot. Go to the far side of the parking lot. These directions are the same for everyone in the building. So once we're at the far side of the parking lot, you would line your group up and double check that your kids match your attendance sheet. And then I'll come and check everyone from there. Children who do have allergies, they have food allergies or some other allergies, they will wear a red wristband. They'll get that when they first get here on Monday, and then there'll be a new one for them every day of the week to wear. The red bands will actually have written on it what their exact allergy is. Our snack helpers will have a spreadsheet so they know those, and they will check each time a group comes. But you as a guide will also need to make sure you're double checking and asking those who are serving snacks if they had made sure that there's no allergens for that child. There's one other kind of wristband that we give out, and it's a different color. I believe it's blue, and it indicates those who do not have permission to have a photo taken. Please be careful with that. Our professional photographer who comes around will know to check for those and will not take pictures of anyone with a blue wristband. But if you pull out your own camera, make sure that you're not getting the kids with those bands in your own pictures as well. Thank you. Next, we're going to go to some of the schedules, which start on page 8 and 9 of your handbook if you happen to be following along. Our VBS has 3 separate rotations. There's a preschool rotation, an early elementary rotation, and upper elementary rotation. Our early elementary is for kids who are going or have just finished kindergarten and first grade. So the preschool groups are all younger than that. The preschool groups have not gone to kindergarten yet. Our upper elementary then starts, the youngest are those who have just finished second grade, and it goes all the way up to 5th grade. Your handbook has a whole chart of the schedule. So if you are a guide, you'll find what group you're in, and you'll see where your group goes, which stations, and how long they'll be there. Our preschool stations are each only 20 minutes, and the preschool rotation actually starts with some time in your homeroom at the beginning and some homeroom time at the end. Just 10 minutes at the beginning, 10 minutes at the end. That's after our big worship rally in the sanctuary to start. You'll take your preschool group downstairs to your homeroom. And for that first 10 minutes, especially the first day, it's good to just sit in a circle and try to get everyone's name. And then you'll be headed off to a station at some point. You'll rotate around to these stations. There are station leaders at each of these places, and our station leaders also have helpers in there. But guides will serve as helpers as they go, and of course you'll be more familiar with your own kids in your own group, and you'll be able to help there. This book outlines all of those preschool stations, and it also has a preschool map telling you where everything is. Every station and in our hallways, we have certain flows of traffic that we want to follow, and every room, or most rooms, have an in and an out door, and they'll be well marked with signs. Those who were here at our meeting got to take this tour, and were told where some of those were as well. You can check in with them. And then just look for the signs. If you're helping with preschool, you'll need to read through the characteristics of a preschooler and some tips for your schedule, what to do with them. And then the preschool also, you'll go back to your homeroom sometime mid-morning, not only to have your snack there, but there's a station that's called homeroom activities. There's actually no station leader for that, but they're very simple activities where all the materials will be in your room waiting for you. There are some things like counting the stars in a picture of a constellation. You can have the kids in the circle and have them count through those. There's a couple of things that they can color. There's a coloring sheet as one of your ideas. But every group, every day, should be practicing your song. You'll be assigned one song for the Thursday night family program, and your group will come up to the stage during that song, along with a couple other groups. And so that's the song that you're going to want to make sure you practice with your group. Now, all you need to do that, you don't need to be a singer. You don't even really need to do the motions if you don't want to, because you will have a DVD player, a TV in your room. You can just hit play. You'll just review yours. The TV will have the motions. The kids can follow the ones on there. And also remember our teen helpers, some of them have gone to Maine and actually already know these motions. So rely on your teen helpers to help with that as well. All right, moving on, in our handbook, you'll also find a schedule for the early elementary groups and the upper elementary groups. And those rotations are 30 minutes each. Well, they're actually 25 minutes and then 5 minutes allowed to travel in between each station. And again, all our elementary starts up in the sanctuary for our worship rally, but then you'll be dismissed straight to your first station, and you'll just keep going station to station. There are 5 locations that you'll travel to, and there is someone to man each of those. Now, our mission station will have someone who will do a short missions lesson, and you'll do some prayer for them as well for our missions project. But also, at the end of the mission station, you will be allowed time to make sure that your group can practice their song. So in the mission station for elementary, there will be a TV, a DVD player, have the motions and everything ready for you for that. The book also includes a map. It has all the different places for your rooms that you'll be traveling to for elementary. Also has some information about characteristics of your age group. And we would love to invite Miss Rochelle in to show us some motions for our verse. That way you can be working on memorizing this verse right along with the kids.
Colossians 1:15 and 16. He is the image of the invisible God, the firstborn over all creation. For everything was created by him in heaven and on earth. The visible and the invisible, whether thrones or dominions or rulers or authorities. All things have been created through him and for him. Colossians 1:15 and 16. Pluto! Woo! 1.
Well, thank you, Miss Rochelle, for helping us with those motions. Those motions will be taught to the kids every day at the opening rally, so you can reinforce the verse with that. It really is just a tool to help the kids remember those words. It really helps me remember the words, so it may help you too. All right, back in our book, we're going to quickly go over the last few things, and I think you've probably already heard the secret word, which you will need to email or text to me so I know you are watching this. But don't stop now. I have some more things, so keep watching all the way to the end. All right. On page 21, there are instructions for guides. So you'll want to read that if you are a guide. There are instructions for station leaders and helpers. Make sure you read that if that's who you are. And then there are some more helpful hints. I'm going to also go over some of the very specific things you do in certain stations as reminders here. So for guides, one of your main jobs is to get to know your kids. So talk to them. You'll have plenty of times in between stations as you're going or you're waiting to get into a station, whether you're in snack time, you'll have plenty of times to be talking to your kids. And I should see adult leaders and teen leaders talking to the kids more than you're talking to each other. Obviously, you'll need to do that too, but make sure you are talking to the kids. All right, now also, your group may be fairly large. If you have an elementary group, which will be a little bit larger than some of the preschool groups. Your elementary groups, you should divide them into 4 subgroups. So on the very first day, one of your first stations, and at least by snack time, try to decide 4 different groups within your large group. And when you get to snack, for example, there will be 4 snack tables for elementary kids. Have whatever your subgroup 1 is, have them all sit at one table, subgroup 2, subgroup 3, subgroup 4, and tell them that they should sit that way every day of the week. Whenever you divide into 4 groups at a station, those will be the 4 groups. Obviously, if you have some behavior problems or challenges, you could move someone midweek, but for the most part, stick with those. And then have one of your leaders who will be the primary leader for that subgroup. It can be an adult or a teen, it doesn't matter. But when I walk by the snack area, I should see one table on Monday that has certain kids at it and a certain leader there, and the next day I should see the same kids and the same leader at snack. This will be helpful in your mission station also, because you'll break into prayer groups in your mission station. In game time, if you need to break into 4 groups, you can also use those in game time. But you are also responsible for the safety of the kids that you are guiding from station to station. So always be aware, don't forget to count your kids every time, and read through all the details that are in your handbook. Next, for station leaders and helpers, our station leaders have been planning their station for months and maybe even longer than that. If you are a helper for them, you just check in with them and ask them what they need. You're going to help in that station in however the leader says they need. But also you can certainly help with cleaning up. Cleaning after every group that comes in is very helpful. I'm encouraging groups also to recite the memory verse when they go to a station. If they're waiting for instructions or at the end of it, it's a good way to review your Bible verse in a station as well. There are some helpful hints here. One is that for bathroom breaks, we don't want our kids to be taking bathroom breaks right in the middle of the gospel message or right in the middle of their Bible story station. So try to find times where the kids have a better chance to take a break. For example, snack time is perfect. And our snack, as I referred to, our elementary groups sit at 4 tables near the kitchen. But our preschool groups have their snack delivered to their homeroom. Preschool leaders, you'll just serve the snack right in the room. And some of you have a bathroom in the preschool room. Some of you will need to line up a group and take them down the hall to the hall bathroom. But snack time is perfect. In between stations is a great time for bathroom breaks. Keep things positive. If you have something that you don't want a child to do, tell them what they should be doing instead. If they should not run in the hall, tell them they need to walk and show them what it looks like. Or make them redo it. If they ran down the hall, send them back. Tell them to do it again the right way. We also use a 5 count. I'll be teaching this on the first day to everyone, and then I'll tell you about our discipline policy. Our 5 count just means any leader can start counting to 5. And if you count to 5, you're going to also raise your fingers like this. Count as loud as you can. The kids know that means stop talking. And the kids will also count on their fingers with you, but they should not say anything out loud. So if everyone's talking, you need their attention, just start counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. By 5, you can probably be quiet because they'll have quieted down by then as well. We also have a 3 strikes you're out kind of discipline policy. It's actually listed in the very back of your handbook. And all this is, and if we all keep this consistent, it's very helpful. It means 1 is a warning. If you have to speak to a child about breaking a rule, doing something that they know that they weren't supposed to be doing, you officially give them a warning and actually tell them that that's a number 1. I'll teach this to the kids the first day, so they'll know what you're talking about. But 1 is a warning. You could say, Johnny, you were talking while the teacher was talking. I need to give you a 1. That's a warning. Don't talk while the teacher's talking. Let's be quiet. Then if that same child disobeys a rule any other time during that whole day, it doesn't have to be just 5 minutes later. It could be an hour later. And you need to speak to Johnny again. You would say, Johnny, that's 2. I already gave you a warning, so now I have to pick a new seat for you. And then you show Johnny where his new seat is. Or you have him sit out of a game for a few minutes, depending on where you are. Move him or her so that they know exactly what they did and that something is happening, a consequence. If that same child in the same day has a 3rd time where they're not following the rules or not following directions, the 3rd time means we need to speak to a parent. And all you'll need to do is tell that child that they already had a 1, a warning. They already had a 2 and had to move. And number 3, they're going to leave your group temporarily. Either you or another helper can escort them up to the gathering area and contact me. If I'm not there, they can wait there for someone. And I will come in and I will talk to that child. We'll make a plan for how to best get the child back to your group and make it a positive experience. But the child will know that either right then I'm going to call the parent to let them know, or I'm going to talk to the parent at the end of the day if we're close to the end of the day. If you have questions about that, please feel free to talk to me. All right, now in your handbook on page 22 and 23, if you read through all the details here, you'll know everything that you would, these are good tips for what you'll do when you're taking our children around station to station. I also want to remind you that all leaders need to be here at 8:30 every morning. Guides, this tells you some specific things to do. If you're in a station, I just want to highlight the snack station one more time here as well. You're going to have Bible activities at the stations. There are some worksheets on the tables in the elementary area, and they could practice their Bible verse after they finish their snack. It's also a great place to have them hear, or for you to have them recite the Bible verse to you for the day. Every kid will have a name tag, a lanyard, and in that lanyard they'll have that one name tag. And throughout the week, each day you're going to give them a card that has the Bible verse for the day. And every day we add a little more to the verse and a little more, but they're going to say the whole thing on that card. You're going to let them practice that, but if they recite it to you, take their name tag out, not the Bible verse card, but take out their name tag, and you'll have a hole puncher in your backpack. And punch a hole in that tag, and that shows us that they recited the verse. On Thursday night, they'll get to go to the Prize Redemption Center, and for however many holes in their name tag, they'll get to take that many prizes. Do not punch more than 1 hole per child per day. They can't say the same thing 3 times in one day and get 3 punches. Just 1 per day. The next day, if they say the whole new part, they get a 2nd punch. This tells you a little more about that as well. And then make sure you clean up all the stations, but especially at the snack station. Make sure that all the kids help you and help the leaders clean up. Preschool. I mentioned your homeroom activities. There's some more tips for that. And then dismissal. Elementary dismissal is all from the sanctuary. Early elementary and upper elementary. However, preschool elementary dismissal is in the classrooms. So the parents will come down to the preschool classrooms. You'll have your attendance sheet, and they'll just sign out each child as they come to the door and dismiss from there. For the elementary kids in the sanctuary, there will be someone guarding the door so that no child will be able to come through without an adult. So the adult still needs to come over to you. You'll have the kids sitting in the pews in the sanctuary until you see that parent picking up, and then you check them off on your sheet, and they may go. In all the stations, make sure you are focusing on the kids more than you're focusing on other guides and other leaders. And no cell phones. No leaders or adults or teens may have cell phones except for emergency use, obviously, if you need to call 911. If you need to contact me or have a need for VBS, obviously that's fine. Call or text. Texting me is the best way to get me. But make sure you don't have cell phones out for any other reason. Take charge of the discipline with your group. And make sure you just read through all those things. I'm not going to go through all the details of the rest, but I want you to know the information about the Family Night program is here. It tells which groups are singing which songs. There are connection cards for elementary groups. This explains what to do with those. The adult leaders should be filling those out for each child during the week. This has information on introducing a child to Jesus. I want you to read through so you know what we have here, and then also the gospel wheel. It's a tool to share the gospel. So make sure you're familiar with that. It will be referred to in the Bible story stations. These are some transition tips. It just gives you ideas if you have a few minutes and you need something to do with the kids while they're waiting for their next activity. This has some tips. This volunteer list is up to date as of right now. If I send you anything else by email, it'll be the most updated, but this has actually changed from the first one that I sent to you. There are some changes, so make sure you check carefully, and if you have a question, let me know. All the song lyrics are also in here, so you'll be able to refer to that when practicing our songs. The discipline plan is in here. And finally, our Brandywine Valley Baptist Church mission and our Brandywine Kids goals and vision. Make sure you read this whole thing. It has everything you need to know and then some. And if you have questions, come talk to me. And don't forget, Pluto. It should be a planet. Make sure you text or email me that. Thanks. Bye.